This is the 13th episode of my personal journals, 10 Minutes of Bliss, as I share my learnings and my researches for myself in a video 360-degree format of my travels around the world and the wisdom that I pick up, which I feel obliged to not only keep on record for the future generations, but also for our tribe here, so that it may help one person's life by giving them a tool set so they may use it as they wish to also serve themselves to fulfill their own destinies. In the past episode, we discussed change and the resistance to change. And to refresh our memories, previous episodes could be linked upstairs, or rather up in the video screen. And we also discussed the 6 basic human needs prior to this current conversation, which everything is kind of coming back to that as we see repeatedly. Our patterns are what create 90% of us by the time we're over 30 years old. This is a recent study that just came out. And if by the time we are 30, we are 90% programs that are running, that we have, by the way, approved of at one point throughout our lives, that we're now practicing on repeat without even considering whether we need them or not, or are they serving us at this moment, yes or not. We just get caught in them, and that's how we fail to experience life, and life starts happening to us, not for us, because it's all on program now. Anyhow, change, which is what is needed in order to be able to literally change course or change the experience of one's life, or to change anything, because in order to experience whatever it is that we are not right now, we must change. We must become the person that is needed to experience that life, that emotion, that physical manifestation, whatever it is. We must become that by changing. And as we do become that, then change naturally occurs. However, there are 5 major holdups that keep us from committing to even the idea of change. And as we discussed, fear of the unknown is one of them, which is essentially fear of variety or uncertainty. And that often happens because we're holding on to created and some sort of delusional certainties through unresourceful behaviors that we display, such as overeating, controlling of others, watching TV, or going through our social media for such a long time, for those micro dopamine shots. So that is one of the reasons. Threat to comfort zones, which is essentially the same thing. Comfort zones are our certainties. Lack of control, that's another reason that most people do not wish to change, because they feel they would not be in control, as opposed to, I guess, the illusion of having any control, because we all know, as much as we can pretend that we do, nothing is within our control externally in terms of what occurs. especially when we're trying to create from the three-dimensional paradigm. The next one is emotional attachment to the past. So again, lack of control. The last one was lack of certainty. And then emotional attachment to the past is, again, the certainty of the emotional place of where I'm going to be is where a lot of people wish to stay. For example, a lot of people want to experience being depressed or down or sad, or some people want to be experiencing excitement, happiness, joyfulness. So whatever that state is or was, which is what they are still living in, that's their certainty. That's the area where they're certain of and they wish to stay in, as opposed to taking on variety and uncertainties and exploring new possibilities. Again, certainty matter. And last one, beliefs and habits. So of course, change can challenge any person's beliefs, habits, making it difficult for us to adjust to new ways of thinking and acting. So definitely beliefs and habits are the last thing that, or amongst the last few reasons of the many that all come back to, again, the same thing, because beliefs and values, those are thoughts, and those thoughts are all just our agreements with ourselves. They're nothing beyond that. And as discussed in previous episodes, you can go to different parts of the world and you'll see that people are living in complete beliefs about life, its structure, its reality, the very fabric of life, so separate from what we experience in our own minds and lives on the daily, that for us it's completely alien. Yet they're just having normal lives the way we have them, in the same different classes of economy. So overall, beliefs obviously are not absolute, and any unwillingness to change or any thought that change is hard literally comes from the place of hanging on to certainties, and that they are mostly, by the way, in forms of unresourceful behaviors that plague our lives in different forms, such as the ones given a few minutes ago in the examples of unresourceful behaviors of certainty, like I have control over my partner, she cannot go anywhere, or my partner cannot think this or say that, or my family cannot make any decision, or my company cannot, or my employees cannot, or this should not, or that may not. So all of these are huge, huge certainty, unresourceful behaviors, and certainty is basically the antagonist of change, because how can you explore when you're holding on? If you had a door of your house that you were holding on to with your life, you would never get past beyond a 2 feet radius of that door. So that is the relationship of certainty to change and growth, whereas certainty is needed sometimes to kind of just recuperate and push again for growth and exploration, which is our own highest self nature and purpose here, to experience, to grow, to contribute. But many of us get it twisted in the middle to many different shapes and forms. To be discussed, obviously, in another episode in more detail. And this wraps up the 10 minutes of episode 13. Be blessed. Much love to our Enigma family and tribe if you're still here. If you just joined us, thank you for joining the tribe.
I could look better, kind of thing.
Kind of like survival of the fittest. They just don't have that yet.